Hey friends, Easter is right around the corner, which means that your kids are likely going to be exposed to a higher volume of candy and sweets because it is a very candy-centered holiday. And I've been hearing from some of you how this can bring up a lot of anxiety or stress, or you might not be sure how to best navigate, holidays like Easter or just any type of situation where your child might be exposed to, again, a higher volume of sweets. And I want to help support you through this. I know this can be stressful, and I just want to give you some tips to help you navigate specifically the day of. I've talked a lot about some different strategies for approaching sweets with kids in our everyday life, but I want to help give you some specific strategies for the day of a big holiday, or let's say it's a birthday party or any type of situation where your child is going to encounter a high volume of sweets. So the reason this is important is because this is real life. We live in a world where food is part of how we celebrate, and this is especially true around holidays. And when we can give our children opportunities to learn how to navigate these situations, it's really going to help support them learn how to self-regulate all food, so that, in the future when they're at a party or some type of holiday celebration and they're facing a higher exposure to sweets in any form, they can trust their bodies and listen to their bodies. And that really starts with us giving them those opportunities in our homes now. And holidays like Easter or Halloween or Valentine's Day, where there's going to be a lot of candy in the mix, is a really great opportunity to do this. So I want to give you 3 tips that you can implement the day of a holiday. So like Easter, for example. So tip number 1 is you want to intentionally and proactively give your child an opportunity to explore and eat their candy. And again, this may feel really counterintuitive, and the tendency is to want to try to control it because it seems like so much. And I know for a lot of parents, it can make you feel really uncomfortable. And if you find yourself in this situation, you're not alone. But hear me out. Your kids are likely going to be interacting and engaging with candy or sweets throughout the day as part of the festivities that are often included in a holiday celebration like Easter, for example. So, there's likely going to be an Easter egg hunt, or you might be making something with them that involves some kind of candy. And so they're being exposed to it. It's on their radar. They're definitely engaged with it, and it's registering in their brain like, oh wow, there's all these different things. And especially if they're seasonal, like, Peeps, for example, the little marshmallow chicks, those are going to be more enticing for them because they don't see it that often, and they definitely don't see it in that volume and the quantity that they might get on a holiday like Easter. So sometimes the tendency is to want to pull back and try to control it and keep it away, or dish out a few pieces, or give like a small amount to our kids that helps us feel a little bit more comfortable. But the issue is that sometimes it's just not enough. Like our kids, again, because they've been engaging with it and seeing it throughout the day, they know it's there. It's like kind of like think about giving your child a really special toy that they're excited about or they've wanted for a long time, and then you let them play with it for a few minutes, but then you take it away. It's kind of like that same psychological effect where they know it's available, but now it's gone. And that's going to create feelings of deprivation or scarcity around the Easter candy specifically. So I really recommend creating a proactive time in the day at some point, ideally after you've had your festivities and your child has their stash of candy or whatever it is. They might have an Easter basket full of goodies and things that they're excited about eating. So this would be a great time to plug in an intentional opportunity where they can explore and eat what they want from their basket. So again, this can make parents really uncomfortable, but I want you to think about the importance of this because it's helping them learn how to self-regulate from a higher quantity of sweets, which is really important for them to learn how to do that, to have experiences where they can do that are safe, and to learn what feels best in their own individual bodies. So being proactive about setting this up, I usually with my kids will just say, okay, we're going to have a snack time and you can bring your Easter baskets, and I'll just let them sit at the table. Typically I'll pour my kids a glass of milk that they can have with their candy, and I just let them choose to eat what they want and how much they want from their entire Easter basket. And I do check for safety, especially for my younger kiddos, and making sure there's not anything they could potentially choke on. You want to be careful with that. But outside of that, you want to create this opportunity where you're essentially giving them permission, again, to eat and explore what they want from their stash, whatever it is. And really the only thing I do is set up like a trash can in the vicinity of where they're sitting. And I just let them know, if you try something and you don't like it, you can throw it away. And, I do have them throw their trash away too. But that also helps them remember that they don't have to eat anything they don't like from their basket. It's kind of like when you get that random box of chocolate and you try something and you're like, oh, that wasn't what I thought it was going to be. So you don't have to finish it. If you don't like it, you can discard it and let it go. So that is my first tip. You want to intentionally give them permission to eat and explore. And again, just be aware of any discomfort that may be coming up for you. And this is actually leading into my tip number 2, which is try not to micromanage your children when you've given them permission to eat what they want and how much they want from their stash of candy or whatever it is that they've gotten. This is hard. And as a parent and as a dietitian, I understand this completely, and I've experienced this so many times with my kids where the amount that they're eating is a lot, like it makes me feel like, wow, a little bit uncomfortable because I'm seeing them like tear through pieces of their candy and, like wondering if they're still breathing through the process. So I want you to know that I totally understand that this can bring up a lot for you and you might feel uncomfortable in the process. If we micromanage our kids and if we say comments to them like, you shouldn't be eating that much, or, don't eat too much, or you might feel sick, those things come from a place of really good intention. I totally get that. What I want you to hear is the message that you might be communicating to your child, the unspoken message. So when they hear us say things like that to them, they might translate that to mean, mommy doesn't trust me to eat, or they might feel like they can't trust themselves to eat from what you've allowed them to have. And that can really push them away from their innate signals that are there to help guide them and help them self-regulate, all foods. So this is where we really need to focus on trusting our children and letting them figure out how much they need to eat. And sometimes our kids do overshoot it, or they might eat so much that they do get a stomach ache or they do feel sick afterwards. All those experiences are important because it's giving them data and information to help them learn how to navigate these types of situations in the future. But they won't be able to figure that out if we're trying to micromanage them or intervene or, try to set some limitations around them to help us feel better in our own discomfort. So I really recommend taking a step back, even like sitting down, if it's okay for you and you feel comfortable doing so, to sit down with your kids, pick out some pieces of candy that look good to you and sitting down and enjoying it with them, because that sends a really powerful message to them that they have permission to do the same and that they're safe to eat, candy and to figure out what feels best for their body. So just be aware of your language and your messaging and also nonverbal cues. Sometimes we might not say things, but we can like give our kids like the side glance or, do mannerisms or gestures that can communicate to them that we're kind of watching them. So give them permission, allow them to enjoy, and be part of that enjoyment and let them see you enjoying it too if you're in a place where you feel comfortable doing that. And then my last tip here is to make sure that you store your child's candy stash or whatever it is in a agreed upon location. So again, the tendency is after they've eaten their fill and what they've wanted, we kind of want to like move it away from their sight, right? Like out of sight, out of mind type of idea. However, if your child is still pretty fixated on it or excited about it, putting it out of sight might create some more anxiety or stress about not being able to have access to it again. So you really want to just have a conversation with your child and say, okay, we're done. We're going to have more of this again soon. In the meantime, let's go pick a spot in the pantry where we can put your candy bag. And you want to make them part of the process. That's going to really help them feel like, you trust them, which is so important in supporting our children and building a healthy relationship with food. They want to feel trusted. So let's make them part of it. Let them tell you where they want to put it. This is really important if you've ever had a history of throwing away your child's candy or hiding it away from them, then they didn't get to see it or they didn't get access to it. So it's, we want to help build trust and help them know that there's going to be more opportunities for them to have that again soon. And the only thing that I tell my kids is, okay, we're going to keep your candy bag right here. The next time you want some, you need to ask mama, or we're going to have candy again, for snack, or lunch tomorrow. So you want them to be reassured that it's coming again and give them an expectation around the candy, right? Because, it's not really healthy for them either to just give them free reign of it and just let them go in and out of the pantry all day long. You want to have a set location where you're keeping it and also create some healthy boundaries and expectations around it. So letting them know it's going to be here, and the next time we have a meal, you can come out and pick some candy to have with it. So those are my 3 tips for you guys on, again, how to deal with candy on the day of a big holiday like Easter, or really any type of special occasion where your child's going to be getting a higher volume of sweets. So I hope this is helpful for you. I do have a blog post that goes into this into a lot more detail if you're needing some more support or help. I'll link that in the comments for you. And as always, please feel free to ask any questions that you might have in the comments. I'd be more than happy to help you guys. So hope you have a wonderful holiday weekend, and thank you for watching. Bye.